$500 a day from the payments starting April 1st. That covered, Steve?
That's what the contract is gonna be moving forward again after April 1st.
And that, we had originally set $750 a day, and all we're doing is trying to recoup our engineering, and Steve says that they can adjust, they can cut their fee enough to get close to the $500 a day, so we don't lose money.
So we have a motion on the floor to move forward with deducting $500 a day for the remainder of the contract. Is there a second?
I feel like that it would only be fair to the contractor that we also consider weather days after April 1st. Does that make, I mean?
Yeah, I think
that's fair.
Yeah. Instead of just saying, okay, April 1st to July 31st, we're not even gonna talk to you about weather days. In this particular situation, the kind of work it is, I think we should consider those, and we do them in accordance with TDOT's standard, which is the standard throughout most of the industry.
So do we include that in the motion? And one other thing, in talking with Steve, talking about the pandemic, the state makes no provisions for that. Is that correct?
TDOT did nothing as far as that I can find. I've researched everything. I talked to a couple of people, and they just this doesn't sound right, but they made more progress during the pandemic than because of traffic mainly. But anyway.
All right, so we have a motion on the floor to move forward $500 a day adjusted for weather days. Is there a second?
I second.
Got a motion and second. Any other questions or comments?
For clarification, Keith, did you say a beginning date for that $500 a day?
April 1st.
All right. Questions, comments? Yes.
Steve, does that April 1st date coincide with the time extension they've already received?
The time extension they received carried them through the end of January, right, it was days, right somewhere around when the board met to delay the contract.
Okay.
We asked them, John, in your absence, we asked them to shut down until April 1st.
Right, yeah, I saw that in the minutes.
So,
Yeah.
that's that date.
All right, other questions? If not, please call the roll.
Mike Bell,
Yes.
Bob Garrett,
Yes.
John Hofer,
Yes.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Keith Jackson,
Yes.
Matt Lacy.
No.
Tom Rush.
Yes.
All right, motion's approved. Steve, you got through your report?
One other thing, we submitted, again, the plans on the expansion. I met with TDEC on March 1st, and we're meeting again the week of April 1st. And it looks like that everything is good there, other than just some tweaks that Dr. Lou wants. And we're also getting ready to do our first semi-annual well sampling, getting the materials and the coolers and sample bottles and everything pulled together for that.
Let me ask Steve one more question. That, on that methane burning, will we have to install a vacuum pump?
That's what we've been using to pull the methane. We'll have to put a small vacuum. The way it typically works, once you get that flame going, it pulls its own. But from what we found, Dennis, I think we're gonna have to put a little pump in. It's not gonna be much of one, just a small one.
How often will we have to light that thing? I mean, who knows?
Yeah, it's.
Daily, hourly?
It may, again, it depends on the methane generation, but I would imagine the way that Dennis and I have been talking, the way he got our concentrations up good was they would pull through that system is just a big loop around the top. Valve half of it off, pull that, and then it'll burn, and then when that level drops to where it won't burn, we'll switch it and pull the other one. It's really gonna be just we're just gonna have to see
Trial and error.
how it works, trial and error, yeah.
All right, Steve, we already had a gas project underway. Is this just a modification and adjustment of that, or is this a separate
The
project?
gas project that's underway is basically what might be, the TDEC is wanting us to verify what's running through the ground down at the bottom of the landfill. This is what's moving up toward the top, and if we can get rid of the one that's at the top, then that helps. It's kind of, and one of them's like at Sutherland Road level, the other one's on top of the landfill.
Okay.
It'll also help with any leachate pops that you might be having up there, if we can get that methane. The problem, and I've said this a dozen times, is that landfill was that old bale field landfill, and everything just packed in there so tight together. There was no windows between those bales, and it's tough to deal with a closed bale field landfill. That's why I don't even know, Patrick, you might know, is there even anyone in operation anywhere?
That I know of.
It's all my fault. I was the one that started the bale field, I loved it, it was the thing to do at that time.
It was, honestly, you compact those bales together, and it's easier to get it from the baler out to the landfill.
Cover was not a problem.
Cover not a problem, but then, once it gets in there, it just creates a monster.
Yeah.
All right, Steve, TDEC asked for a timeline and a plan within 30 days. Are we ready to do that? Are you?
Yeah, we're moving with that.
Okay. So, once we do that, they'll review the plan. If they accept it, then we'll have to go into action.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, anything else that anyone would like to ask of their engineer? Okay, rolling to unfinished business, West Rock. West Rock's our recycling processor. I believe we've been successful. Amy, help me verify. We've segregated the hauling fees, which is responsibility of this board, from processing fees, which is the responsibility of the city and county. We have resolved the amount of the haul fee, and that is being paid. They wanted us to set up as a vendor. Has that been completed?
I do not know that.
Okay.
I'll verify that.
So we need to do that. There may be unfinished business with regard to city and county contract and invoicing, but as far as I know, the haul piece of West Rock and recycling, that's the concern of this board, has been resolved. If there's an ongoing concern, I'll report back to you, but I think we have helped them understand that city, county, and landfill are three separate entities that work closely together. I think they had some people that got confused and couldn't remember who was supposed to pay for what, so we're helping them through that. Under new business, the D6, we had an original estimate for repairs to the D6. When we got it in, the price jumped about $20,000. We tried to send out the original estimate and the estimate now for the current $50,000 repairs is in your packet. Dennis, kind of tell us what they found and why there's a difference.
The difference is in a final drive, the exterior part of the machine with 25,000 hours on it was, when they removed it, was fractured all the way around. And then it being fractured had ruined some gears in it, which was pretty much a total loss, but they're still going, with that price, it's still parted back together. We're not paying for a new one. And they had to remove it to put the transmission in. It was
How much is a new one?
a new final drive without a core's probably,
We'll have a core, so that's.
no, our core's ruined. That's the thing. That's why it's as high as it is. We're not
Well, if a battery's dead, it's.
Yeah, I understand that, but
Obviously.
It's a rebuild.
they considered a core something they could rebuild.
Rebuild,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Is this the new machine we?
No, this is their old one.
Okay,
This is their old one.
so it's the old one with a huge number of hours on it.
25,000, somewhere around there.
You know,
How
we
many
did
hours on the
something,
newer
that
machine?
machine not
Yeah,
long
put a
ago.
motor in
I
it.
thought we did. That-
My years are running together or something.
All right. Dennis, how critical is this piece of equipment to have in the working phase?
Very.
And it's now sitting in their shop waiting for an okay from the board to move forward?
Yes. The transmission, they should have completed it, that part of it.
It's standby, isn't it?
Right now, it's getting used more than a standby because of the way the garbage has been having to be put in. The compactor's almost worthless the way it's going in.
But if your other dozer's down, that's all you
Yeah,
got.
yeah, that's all I got.
Okay.
I don't think we have a choice but to fix it, so I'll make a motion that we fix the machine.
All right, got a motion to approve at 51.5.
I'll say.
Motion and second. Any other comments? I know we all got concerns, but that's, you gotta have the equipment to get the job done. Amy, please call the roll.
Mike Bell,
Yes.
Bob Garrett,
Yes.
John Hofer,
Yes.
Tim Horner,
Yes.
Keith Jackson, Matt Lacy,
Yes.
Tom Rush.
Yes.
Okay, thanks, folks. All right, next item of new business is a personnel matter. As you will recall, I provided you notice that on the 3rd, I placed Mr. Winter on suspension based on his indictment and arrest. He has been on suspension since that point in time. We need to make a determination this morning of which direction we're going.
Tony, I recognize that Dan Winter has made some positive contributions to this organization, but in light of the current circumstances and the charges he's facing, I'm compelled to move that Dan be terminated effective today. I would like to include in my motion that he be paid through today, including any accrued unpaid leave he would be entitled to under these circumstances, and I would put that in the form of a motion.
So we have a motion on the floor to terminate.
Can I question what you just said?
Well, do you want to repeat the motion?
I want to ask you a question.
Can we see if we got a second first, and then we'll go into
Okay.
that. Do we have a second?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a second.
We have a motion and a second. All right, Bob, what's your
What
question?
evidence do you have of any wrongdoing that Mr. Winters did?
All I have is that he has been, he's been investigated by the state. That investigation has been handed over to the district attorney general's office, and it's resulted in an indictment.
So then your answer is no, you have none.
Tennessee is an employee at will state.
Well, that's another issue. That's another issue.
Can I just add something?
Yes, sir.
I personally don't think there was criminal intent. I think it was more of a bad decision, but it's kind of like a DUI. You drive under the influence, and you pay the consequences. Doesn't necessarily make you a bad person.
We made the decision. We approved what he was charged with.
Other than the bed cover.
It's still here, I understand. It's still here on the vehicle.
No,
It's on his property.
it's on his vehicle.
I mean, the amount, is not really that much, but at the end of the day, I have a fiduciary responsibility to this board and to the citizens of the county, and I just feel like that's the motion that I need to make.
You're entitled to your opinion.
And just to add, he's put himself in this situation, and unfortunately, he's put this board in an uncomfortable position.
I'm not sure he has. I'm not sure who did that. No proof of that.
All right. Other comments, questions? All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor. Amy, please call the roll.
Mike Bell,
Yes.
Bob Bob Garrett,
No.
John Hofer,
Yes.
Tim Warner,
Yes.
Keith Jackson,
No.
Matt Lacy,
No,
Tom Rush.
Yes.
Motion passes 4-3. I will move forward with notifying Mr. Winter of the action of the board this morning. Following up on that with termination, we'll need to look at adjustment of signature cards at the bank. Amy, right now on the signature cards are myself, Dennis, and Dan.
That's correct.
If it would be acceptable to the board, we would need a resolution to remove Dan from the signature cards, and if and when we make additional purchases to add to it, we'll consider that in a later date. But we do need a motion and a vote of the board to make those adjustments at the bank.
I'll make that motion.
Motion, Hofer, do we have a second? Motion is second. Any other questions or concerns? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Amy, if you can help me get that done, I would appreciate it. The last item on the agenda in your packet is a proposal from the audit firm Rutherford Moss. We had a 3-year contract. They have provided you with a proposal for extension for an additional 3 years at a flat rate of $12,000 a year. If you're willing to accept that, we can move forward with execution, preparation of a contract. If you would like to go out and seek other proposals, we'd have to do that, and that would take some additional time. What's your pleasure?
Is that, not to exceed $12,000?
I remember a flat fee of 12, but Amy, you may know better than I do.
It is for audit services.
So it's a $12,000 flat fee, including expenses.
Including incidental expenses such as travel and supplies for audit services.
And that's it for 3 years?
Yes.
that's something we typically get out of the,
We have gone, once in my tenure, we've gone out, which is a fairly elaborate process of going out and seeking proposals. You don't go with low bid, you go based on qualifications, you rank them, you try and negotiate a price. This is a fairly competitive price based on my experience, and I think they've given us good service, but if you'd like to look at other folks, we can do that, but it will take us a couple of months to get done.
You're not required to bid.
You're not required to. It's a professional service. If you're satisfied with it, you can simply renew the contract.
I'll make the motion to renew it.
Motion to renew, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion second. Any other questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Amy, if you can help me get the contract ready for execution, we'll get it in front of Mr. Capps and see if we can get that done. All right, anything else that needs to come before the board this morning? Think you swallowed enough for one day? All right, thank you very much. We'll convene again in 1 month's time.